Hey everyone, I'm proud to tell you about Coptales and Cocktails' very first sponsor. It's a first responder clothing company called Emery Lane. Emery Lane has a large variety of products for women and children, and they have increased their offerings for men as well. As you can see, Howard and I are in them tonight.
Yes.
The thing that I personally love about Emery Lane, though, Howard, is they are family owned and operated by a law enforcement officer's wife. And all of their products are designed here in the USA in Nashville, Tennessee. Emery Lane is one of the largest selections of exclusively designed first responder apparel on the market today. You got to go check them out on Instagram or Facebook at Emery Lane Co. and use promo code STICKS for 20% off your next order. That's promo code STICKS, STICKS, for 20% off your next order at emerylaneco.com, EMORYLANECO.com.
We love Rebecca. She's awesome.
She's fantastic. You know what else we love?
We love cocktails, too.
We love cocktails. We love being safe.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, the first rule of staying safe is be aware of your surroundings. Crime in Place is the iPhone app that keeps you aware of crime rates anywhere you are. Want to go or just need to know? Nationwide, Howard. Crime in Place uses current FBI data for property and personal crimes, so it's always up to date. What's more, it's free to download. Big fan of free.
Free.
Just go to the crime.app. That's crime.app. Stay aware, stay safe with Crime in Place.
Yeah, we love that company, too.
We do.
They help
Fantastic.
keep people safe.
That's what it's all about. So, Howard, how you been, buddy?
Good, Sean. How you doing?
It's good. Been a little bit since we've been here, a week.
Yeah, we did a whole bunch in a row when we took a vacation.
We've been busy. You got to travel a little bit. I got to travel a bit, but we're back here.
Yeah.
So we've got a great guest that our good buddy Chad Ayers, who actually got me connected with. Really excited to have him on here. I was aware of this incident back when it happened because of, I'll just use the word, the heroics involved in it, the fight to win mentality and so forth. So we'll get into that first, or get into that here in just a second. But what do we like to do on the Coptales and Cocktails
We always like
podcast?
to have cocktails.
We do. That goes with the name.
But tonight we were going to start with this thing called Liquid Sunshine because our guest is from Florida and we were going to drink a fruity drink. And so we sent it to him to say, hey, you interested in this? And he said,
Hell no.
so he picked his own thing, right?
He did, and I'm very proud. So unlike the very first guest we ever had who selected Crown Apple, this guy knows a thing or two about, as you like to call it, that corn liquor.
We like that corn liquor.
That good brown,
Hey, what's
yummy
our
yum.
guest's name today?
This is Jared Reston, and he is recently retired from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Department there in Florida. So, Jared, man, pleasure to have you on.
Hey, thank you guys very much.
So before we get into this, let's do a little cheers. So we're sipping on.
What'd you pick? Yeah, show us what you picked.
We are going to be sipping on the foolproof 1792 single barrel.
Oh, that's a store pick
Yeah,
there too.
that's
I see the sticker on there. You got a little
Oh
store
yeah,
pick.
that's a Browdy store pick right there.
Oh,
That's
good stuff.
man, you are a bourbon head like us. Wow.
Well, we did not come prepared anticipating that bottle. Like I said, we literally.
pulled
I'll
off
show
our
it here.
shelves.
We actually had this orange fruity drink that
Oh.
looks like a mimosa.
It's very
So we have
bad.
shelved that once we saw what you had. But we did go to our backup stock here that we keep in studio, and we had a 1792 sweet wheat. So it's as close as we can get. We both have full proofs at the house, but
multiples.
that we do. So we're going with this. So cheers to you, man.
Cheers to you, Jared.
Appreciate you
Cheers,
being on.
brother.
That's a lot better than that orange juice.
Man, this is good.
That is good.
We-
All right, Jared. So, man, again, thanks for being here. We'll get into your incident a little bit, but we want to tell us about yourself, man. Tell us about your agency and so forth.
I'm from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. We're in the northeast of the state of Florida. Everyone here, sheriff's office, and always thinks like courthouse and and jails and things like that. But we're consolidated in Jacksonville, so the county is actually Duval County, but we consolidated in 1967. So now it's the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. We're a sheriff's office, but we wear blue. The sides of our cars say police, and the back say sheriff. So it's kind of odd, but but it's pretty good because we're one of the only, in our jurisdiction, we're the only agency almost pretty much exclusively in the whole city of Jacksonville.
So I imagine you guys are pretty damn busy down there.
Yep, it's a very violent city, and it's a very go get it kind of city.
It is. I was down there for a charity golf tournament. Actually, Tim Tebow does one down there. Didn't do one last year because of COVID, but did do one this past year. And fortunate enough to go to that. And all the security guys there were actually Jacksonville Sheriff's Department guys that were working. And I got a chance to talk to a few of them out there. Man, they were very, very friendly. Invited me out for a drink, and I actually had to get back. But yeah, you guys have a pretty big agency, and they were telling me how busy you guys are.
Yeah.
So what made you pick policing, sir?
I really don't know. I think I just kind of my oldest brother is in law enforcement. And I'd ride with him when I was like 16 and coming up. And I always played sports, so I always enjoyed like the camaraderie and like the kind of the locker room kind of deal with it. And I just think that I came on in 2000 prior to 9/11, and like that was answering the call. Like a lot of men and women now are answering the call to go overseas and join the military. I think prior to that, we answered the call to become law enforcement.
Yeah, it's amazing that during 9/11, all police officers were seen as hero, and how the climate's changed a little bit. But I mean, I always still see police as hero. I mean, they're not nurses, but they're pretty good. I mean, they do okay.
That's Howard. Howard's a nurse. Howard's a nurse.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of men in your profession, huh, fucker?
Well, there are a few. I mean, it's a good ratio if you're a single guy, that's for sure.
And just for the record, Howard's the one that wanted that orange juice drink.
Yeah, it was me.
So
absolutely. I picked it out.
It was the nurse side of Howard. All right, so you get on the department, and how's that thing work out there? What do you kind of start with? Out on patrol, I'm assuming? Do you have to start out in the jailhouse?
We don't start in the jail. You can. I started out in the courthouse for about a year and then moved out to patrol, and then like some task force and things like that. And then I made our SWAT team after being on the department for about 3 years. And then I stayed on the SWAT team. We're a full-time SWAT team. And I stayed there for 17 years till I retired.
Well, I've got a question. What do you do in the courthouse? I mean, the only time I see the courthouse is through TV, and it looked like somebody's always coming over the top and trying to get to the judge or a witness or something.
A couple of those there's a few of those on those videos. That's Jacksonville's courthouse.
Really?
Yeah. On Dan Abrams' court cam or some of those other type of videos?
One of those, like the craziest court cases or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Coming over the top. Yeah, that's Jacksonville.
So are you on video in there tackling and slamming somebody?
No, that was before me. That was before my time.
I got you.
So I mean, just you do courtroom security, just handling different cases. Sometimes if the guy is getting reprimanded and coming back into jail, or his bond, like a police officer has to take him, so we book them and things like that from the courthouse.
Well, I imagine after doing that for a little while, watching basically the real life Jerry Springer show, that you probably are ready to get out and do something other than that, huh?
Yeah, for sure. But it was a really good learning experience because you can see, like during trial, like what cops messed up or what this and how, defense attorneys, like, sitting through a trial is a pretty good learning experience to see what to do right and what goes wrong.
Oh, yeah. I know the first several times I was in court, both on prelims and then jury trials, you get your ass handed to you, by an experienced defense attorney. And they know you're new because, Jared, I'm sure it's just like, Tulsa, other places. You got a handful or, a small number of cops that are, quote unquote, your go-getters. They're arresting a lot of guys for dope and guns. And so they're in court a lot. And they get to know the prosecutors. They get to know the defense attorneys. The defense attorneys get to know the officers and how they testify. But when you're a new cop and you walk in, man, you're screaming green, you're screaming rookie, and they'll eat you up. And they do. And you learn from it, though, man. You get pissed off that this guy made you look like an idiot on the stands, but you learn from it. I'm just telling you, it's part of it. You learn from it.
Well, see, Jared didn't have to have that learning experience. He watched it.
He started ahead of time,
yeah. I watched other guys do it.
It's like, I ain't going to have that shit happen to me.
So, man, you end up out there on the SWAT team. Like you said, you're a full-time SWAT team there in Jacksonville, which is, it's kind of a rarity. I mean, there's very few agencies across the country, that actually get to have full-time teams. So if you guys aren't being activated on a call-out, if you're not at training, what does your day typically look like?
So they use us as a criminal apprehension squad. So kind of like the U.S. Marshals for just the city of Jacksonville. So we would handle any violent criminal who, we didn't have nothing to do with the case, but we would just go get the body once the warrant was made. So any murder, robbery, rape, anything violent, we would go pick up. We would pick them up. So that was kind of like our day to day.
So I'm sure that going and picking up just the violent people, they're not coming just like, okay, you caught me, let's go, I'll get in the car. I'm sure they're shooting at you, huh?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do.
Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah, you guys got the nurse beat on this one. I'm not going in and letting anybody shoot at me, that's for sure. So tell us a story when you went in and you were trying to apprehend somebody. Sean only has stories about guys being naked when he tries to apprehend them. So I want to hear something from a different cop this time.
Man, there's so many damn stories. Like I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't even narrow a funny one down. Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
Some of them are all funny. Some of them are, it's just weird. I'm like, the person you think is going to be the biggest, baddest, fighter just ends up coming out and giving up. And someone that you would think is going to do nothing. He likes to put up a fight and things like that. It's just one of those things, man.
Yeah. And that's it. You retired just recently within the past year, and you had what, 20 years on or so there?
Yes, 20 years.
Yeah, and so when you're, a 20-year career and you're an active officer throughout that career, and people have done the same thing. They're like, man, what's the scariest thing you've ever been involved with? Or what's the funniest thing you've ever done? Or what's this? It's like you sit there with a blank stare. It's like, man, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's one or two incidents that throughout your career that stand out, especially
Warhammer.
If you're, that Warhammer. You probably didn't hear that story. We had a young man that was very well
Warhammered.
Endowed. I don't know if that's the word to use, whatever it was.
Isn't that where colleges get their money from? Is
endowments. Yeah. Or I don't know, whatever the word to properly use for this. He had a boink, put it that way. And but there's a few incidents that obviously stick out if you're in deadly force encounter or something like that. But otherwise, man, just crazy chases, stuff like that. It just all gets blended together.
Yeah,
if you work for a smaller agency that maybe you have one of those type of things every 5 years, it's a different story. But man, obviously, reason we reached out to you is I'm personally at least aware of an incident that happened, roughly 10 years ago, 11, 12, something like that now?
13,
yeah. Where you were actually working, from my understanding, just a part-time gig. Was it at a local mall or something like that?
Yeah. Yep. Just off-duty gig at the local mall.
Yeah. So, I've talked about this before. All of us cops in this profession, man, you do those, the rate of the pay is not the best, but there are these extra jobs out there, whether from banks or your case, a mall or a local restaurant or grocery store. I mean, you name it, man, they'll pay officers, to have that uniform presence.
Yeah. Like Mayfest.
Exactly. Yeah, Mayfest. It's another festival. It's a music festival here in Tulsa. They pay cops to be out there and so forth. So you're working an extra gig out at the mall and turned into literally I don't know if I used the word, a life-changing situation, just obviously a moment that will be forever etched in your life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Turned into a hellacious gunfight.
Yeah, so let's get at it, man. Walk us through this. Let the listeners hear what happened from your voice.
So just like we'll do like the Reader's Digest version. So I'm working off duty at the mall. Actually, I'm working off duty with my partner who's on the streets. He's been my partner since the courthouse. Like we got out together. We worked patrol and task force together, and we were working together. And I was talking to my wife on the phone, and Belk's Loss Prevention comes over the radio and says, "Hey, we're going to be stopping 2 shoplifters exiting out of the south doors of the mall." We're kind of on the north side of the mall, so we wouldn't be able to make it there. But we said, hey, we'll have mall security bring up video and we'll watch it, make sure everything's okay. And then we'll meet you at your office and we'll handle the paperwork. And we pull it up. I'm still talking to my wife on the phone. You can see a white male and a black male exit the store. Loss Prevention comes out right behind them. They identify themselves as Loss Prevention. The white male begins to fight like immediately, like a full-on fist fight with them. So I hang up the phone with my wife, me and my partner try to get out there to see if we can assist. But by the time we got there, the black male is now not there, and they are walking the white male back towards the front of the store. He was already handcuffed, and they're dusting him off. And So we kind of get up there and make sure everybody's all right and everything's happening. They said, yeah, but the black male also stole something. We would like him apprehended. About 75 yards across the parking lot, there's a huge, like a bus stop, like a central, and the suspect kind of separated himself from the group that was there to see what was happening with his buddy. So they're like, there he is right there. So me and my partner see him. What's up?
So this brilliant shoplifter mode of escape was the bus, right?
Well, they had a car there.
Oh, okay.
He just ran and tried to blend in a little bit to see what he was doing. And he probably thought he was far enough away that we couldn't see him. I don't know. But he sees us see him. We have that little aha moment. He takes off running across the street. It's an expressway, so it's like a 6-lane expressway, and it happened about 7:40 at night, and it was in January, so it was dark. So we had to do a little bit of Frogger to get across there. We're running across the parking lot of like a shopping center. He was kind of ran up and got caught by the shopping center and was running across the front of it. Me and my partner were cutting through the parking lot, like trying to get to the corner on him. Before he made it to the corner, I saw his like legs get wobbly, and he almost started to fall. And I was like, "Oh, I got him. His gas is built up. He's mine." So I told my partner, "Hey, I'm going to speed up. I'm going to go get him." So I run to the corner. When he rounds the corner, he's still on the sidewalk of the building, but it's like a glass corner, so I can see him the entire time. And he's walking, so I don't know if he's tired or he's just trying to act nonchalant, like to the other traffic. Well, I get to the corner, I draw my taser, I tell him, "Hey, you're now dealing with the police. It's time to go back. Let's give it up." Well, he turns around and looks at me and puts his hands up like this, but never says anything and never stops, but he keeps walking backwards. And tell him to stop.
Hey, Jared, let me ask you this, man. And I'm assuming you've probably had numerous foot chases before. So, most of these things, when you catch a guy, they kind of just they're maybe they're passively trying to get away. They're not physically there to bang it out and fight with you. They're trying to push you off and get away. And just like you talked about, when you're chasing someone and they gas out and they usually just give up. They don't put up much of a fight. And I'm assuming you're in full uniform, even though you're working a part-time gig. Is that correct?
Yeah. Full Class A uniform.
Okay, so you've identified yourself, boom, police, not loss prevention. All right, man. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. So he kind of, and I tell him, "Hey, man, stop or I'm going to tase you." And he turns and takes off running again. And I was like, son of a man. So then I take off running with him again. I don't know why I didn't tase him. I don't know if it was like if I was on the street, I would have tased him. But like, I don't know if I was just like, "Hey, it's a lot of paperwork for off duty. Like, let's just get this guy and come back." Like, so I give him a few more commands to stop than I normally would. But then I finally had enough of it. So I put the red dot on his back, squeezed the trigger, and nothing happened. Oh. I held it there for what seemed like an eternity. There was no pop, there was no discharge, nothing. And now I'm closing that gap on him. And I look down at the back of my taser, and on the LED screen on the back, it's just counting down. So I had to safe the taser, holster it, and then go hands-on with it. So just like you were talking about, up until this point is when he was trying to get away. But when I reached out and I put my hand on the back of the hood of his sweatshirt, I was going to like dump him backwards and go to the ground. As soon as I did that, he swung hard with his right arm and twisted and broke my grip, and he came to rest just like this.
So he took a fighting stance, squared off with you.
Oh man, he bladed off, chin down, and fist came up, and I was like, all right, and immediately recognized it. I'm not one to shy away from a fight, so it was going to be a good one. So I immediately grabbed him, brought him in close. I started headbutting him and elbow striking him and knee striking him, still trying to get to the ground, take him to the ground, control him. My partner would come up, we'd take him into custody. Well, seconds into that fight, I felt like a really heavy impact to my face, and I started falling down to my left. So where I caught him was on top of like a dried retention pond, about, let's say, a 25-yard circumference and about 5 feet deep, but it was dry. And I start rolling down that embankment, and I thought he punched me. And I was like, man, he got you good. Jared, get up, get up, get up. He got you good, get up. But, I was kind of dazed a little bit. And then when I come to rest, I look up, and then that's when I realized he didn't punch me, he shot me. The first bullet entered right through my jaw, exited out my neck, and just broke my jaw right down the middle.
So he hit you in the right side of your face in your jaw? I mean, I say hit, shot you. And
the
you
left
said,
side. So it went dead center, like right
okay,
here,
yeah,
crushed the left side of my jaw and exited right there out of my neck.
wow,
God damn.
So when I came to rest, I could feel my jaw is now like collapsed on top of itself, and my teeth are laying horizontal in my mouth. And I'm like, all right, well, something's changed. You know, that was not a punch. And that's when I looked up, and that was when I recognized he was shooting me. And man, it I say it pissed me off, but it didn't piss me off like a blind rage. It pissed me off almost like he cheated, like he jumped off sides, or he did, like, man, I didn't know we were doing that kind of thing. Like, all right, I see what you got, and I got something for you.
right.
So as he was shooting me, he kind of was like walking away from me, and every time I moved, he'd shoot at me. So he got to about 10 yards away from me by the time I got my gun out. So I got my pistol out, and I'm laying on my back, engaging him single-handedly, trying to push up off the ground, trying to get to my feet.
Or no,
I only make
and sorry, man, to cut you off,
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to visualize. So is he above you because you're talking about on this little retention thing, and you kind of rolled down? So is he like?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
he's standing.
He's
So
above me, walking along that bank, like going away from me from my right to left.
okay, I'm with you.
So now he's coming back at me, and I'm engaging him. When he saw me like draw my pistol, he started coming back on me, trying to put me down.
So he came
So
at you. These dudes usually, I'll be blunt, fucking cowardly. You know, dump some rounds and run.
yeah,
And this is like an 18-year-old kid, and he actually aggressed you.
yeah, he saw me sit up, and he wanted to. I think he thought he killed me, and with that motion, he was like, "All right, let me finish it."
Right.
And that was a mistake. But so I started engaging him like strong hand only and trying to fight to my feet. And when he got close enough to me, because I knew I was hitting him, I could see him react. Like, you know, everyone thinks like blood's gonna squirt and all
No.
this stuff. It's very little. The body is really unimpressed with pistol rounds. You know what I mean? Like I was hitting him, but all he did was he kind of turned his back to me, kind of like if you were trying to squirt a kid with a hose and he's trying to like outrun it. Like, you know what I mean? That little so he kind of gave me his back. So I started engaging him through the side of his body and in his back, but he still kept coming. And then he got close enough to me. I lunged up from my knee, grabbed him, pulled him to my chest. And as I'm falling to the ground, like I'm pulling him down, like kind of belly to back, his head's about right here. I just put my muzzle to his head and I gave him 3 contact shots, putting him out.
Jesus.
Felt his body go limp, felt him, you know, give it up. And then from that, I wanted to create a little bit of distance. So there was like a culvert sitting there, and I wanted to contain him so my partner could deal with him. So I rolled him into that culvert, and I started like kicking him into the culvert and pushing myself away, still keeping my gun out, still keeping cover on him until my partner could arrive. My partner arrived. I pointed out where the suspect was. Partner did an outstanding job on the radio. Got help coming. They got me to the hospital, and I'm here today, man.
So let me ask you this, man. First of all, kudos to you. I mean, that's the you know,
Not
you go,
kudos, damn. Cheers. Here you go,
boom,
brother.
boom.
Yeah, let's
I'll take
drink.
another.
Good Lord. I can't imagine that.
One for the good guys always.
Yeah. So anyway, so he ended up hitting me 7 times.
7 times.
Yeah, he had a Glock 21, a 45 caliber. So the first one entered my chest, exited out my neck. I took 3 to my body armor across my front panel, 1 into my left thigh, just above my knee, exited out high towards my hip. And I took 1 to my right buttock that went and like hit my hip, broke my hip, but not like broke my hip. Like it kind of cracked it and lodged right there. And then grazed my right elbow.
Jesus.
Jeez. And so the 3 that hit your vest, obviously, you know, a 45 cal round anywhere is no good, especially the places you took it. But you were wearing your vest that day. I think you were wearing a Safariland vest from the story that I read. And
Yep.
without a doubt, I mean, I think you're here to say that thing saved your life.
Oh, that thing, I had one dead center of my trauma plate right there. I mean, that would have been a pure showstopper.
Well, actually, I'll say it 2 ways. 2 things saved your life. 1, your vest, and 1, you know, you yourself. You weren't going to let that dude win that day.
Yeah. Like what I always say, like your equipment keeps you in the fight.
Yeah, jeez, man.
So before we jump further, man, I got to jump in with another little ad. You know, you hit it earlier. We were talking about, or actually Howard hit it earlier, talking about 9/11 and the heroes that are cops, and I think this is fitting with you on here. Perfect time to jump in with this. So you can experience the nation's premier law enforcement museum in Washington, D.C., which is reopening August 27th. Immerse yourself in our interactive exhibits and simulators that showcase what it's like to be in law enforcement. See the thought-provoking new exhibit, Post 9/11, The Evolution of American Law Enforcement. It's featuring artifacts, iconic images, and heroic stories of our fallen. Don't miss this transformational experience. Visit nleomf.org for tickets today. That's nleomf.org, as in the National Law Enforcement Officer Memorial Fund.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we got the 20-year. It's crazy to, not to change subjects, but it's crazy. It's 20-year anniversary is coming up here in a few weeks for that, for 9/11, man. A lot of people, obviously, died in that day, across the country in various incidents, but a lot of law enforcement officers died that day.
Well, okay, so we're going to talk nursing now. You got hit in the hip. Like, I've seen people ran over by semis. They degloves their leg, takes their leg completely off, takes their hip off. They're fine. They go on. I've also seen people just mildly have a lung puncture and end up dying. So that vest saved your ass.
Oh, for sure, man. There's no doubt. I mean, it saved my life. I won the fight, if that makes sense. Like, it kept me in the fight. Like, it saved me to keep me and do my job. It allowed me to do my job that day.
Well, shockingly, he was able to hit you. Most of the time when I see people that have been in some sort of gang alteration or the shootings happen.
Alteration?
That's when they get their pants hemmed. That's what happens when that happens.
There's Howard, one glass in.
Yeah, there you go. But most of the time we see them, they have they have that weird shot pattern because they're not holding the gun right, and they shoot a guy in the shoulder, and then they shoot him in the hip, and then they shoot him in the chin, because it's like bam, bam, bam. This guy obviously was holding the gun the right way, and he was hitting you.
I mean, it's pretty damn close. So
yeah.
So he hit you 7 times. How many times did he shoot?
He ran at the slide lock, so. I mean, it holds 12.
Okay. So maybe 12 plus 1.
Good. Yeah.
And how about yourself? How many times? Obviously, you got 3 to the dome on this guy that stopped.
So I hit him 7 out of 14.
Hell yeah.
With a busted jaw in your teeth the wrong way.
I mean,
in your
the
mouth.
good thing, I put one right through K5, right up through the lung, severed the artery in his neck. I mean, he was dead. He would have never even got transported from there. He would have bled out internally, but man, he kept fighting and fighting and fighting until I put one in the switch. Like, that's that's something that you could kind of take away from him is, man, just keep fighting till the lights go out.
Yeah. He was for real. He was for real.
What's K5?
Like dead center of your chest. Like,
that's what they call it. It's K5. All right. So the obvious question everybody's going to ask, he was at Belk's shoplifting. What was he stealing? What was worth his
fucking jeans.
Worth his life, huh?
Yeah, he had it. Well, I mean, I think what it was is he had a gun.
Yeah.
And I don't know no one knows what he did before that. There could be an unsolved murder out there. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, is you don't ever know what people, just because their record or what they did, that might not be what they think you're chasing them for, or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
did this guy have much of a criminal? I mean, I know he's a youngster, but did he have criminal history?
Hardly none. I mean, he had a trespassing.
Nothing.
But like him and some friends, when they were in high school, went to a neighborhood under construction after they put power on, through like a keg party. Like, it was super weak. I mean, his dad was prior law enforcement and his mother's a banker. Like, I can't.
Wow.
It's just one of those things. You just don't know what people are going to think and what it is. Like, I mean, I think if he was probably had more criminal history and more interaction, like, how many people, like, when you're chasing them, they just throw the gun.
Oh, yeah. That's
do whatever.
That's 95% of them. 99% of them.
They're going to go do their 2 weeks in jail because they know that they're not going to get prosecuted. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So that's their, I think this guy's like, I'm going to go to prison forever for this because I got a gun. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't spend much time thinking about why he did it because I don't care.
Sure.
Right.
No,
he did it, and decisions have consequences.
Well, speaking of those consequences, you also had, I'm sure your recovery took a while, didn't it?
Yeah, 6 months. Well, so 6 months and I made it back to the team and back to work. And then I would have to get like another surgery and then I'd be out of work for a little bit. So like altogether, I was probably out of work for about 14 months over like a 3 year period, over a 4 year period.
Man, what was the response like from the, your own department, just the community there when that happened?
The department was great. The community was great. Everybody was great. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better. Like, the typical stuff happened, the things that, but that's just people are gonna say shit because they hate us. You know what I mean? Like it's not,
Yep.
but there's so many people who do appreciate what we do,
Sure.
and it's not just because it's violent doesn't mean it's wrong.
Well, in Jacksonville, you said Jacksonville's kind of a violent area and you work the entire county. And I assume that you have quite a bit of drug traffic coming up from southern Florida through Jacksonville as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, how many police officers have been shot like you have in the past 5 or 6 years?
5 or 6 years. I don't know. I have two friends, not like buddies. I have two friends that have been shot through their face
Good God.
on the job down here.
They
One of them
survive?
was- yes, both of them. Both of them did good stuff. Like my really good friend, who was partner on the SWAT team, he was hit in December, and I was hit in January of that same. So he was like 2007, I was 2008, and then my buddy, he K9 officer, he just got hit probably 5 or 6 years ago now.
So it's like a rod and
Oh.
gun club up there, huh? It's like a skeet range.
Yeah, I mean, and then another teammate of mine just got shot in October this year. Hit him in his vest, but he took one.
How many officer deaths have you guys had in Jacksonville in the past 10 years?
We've done really, really well with that. We have lost them to suicide and car crashes, but we have not had a murder in a very, very long time.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, that was
I
us in
guess-
Tulsa. I mean, we had one shot and killed last year here. We had two officers shot one on the same incident, and one of them died. And then before that, I think it was 1996 was the last time we had one shot and killed in the line of duty. Actually, we hadn't even had any die in a car accident. We have unfortunately had a couple officers, like I said, by suicide. But our department's a little over 800 active officers, so we're pretty decent size as well. And to go 20 plus years without something like that happen, very, very fortunate for sure. I mean, we usually, obviously statistically shows we come out on the winning side. We have numerous shootings a year that involve officers, and
Yeah, we
very, very lucky.
someone's looking out for us.
Absolutely.
Well, it seems like you guys are pretty tough bastards too. Somebody shoots me in the face, I'm just gonna probably roll over.
Well, you just look at Jared's beard. I mean, you could tell he's a tough son of a bitch just
Yeah.
by having that. I mean, not many men can grow that. It looks actually yours are both very similar. Yours is just red, Howard.
Yeah, but I can't get shot in the face.
You
No,
got-
no
well,
way. I'm not.
not like-
That's freaking. Okay, so we've had 3 police officers on this show, all of them that have been shot
Correct.
while trying to apprehend someone. All of them been shot in the face, and all of them have survived to come in here and tell us their story.
Absolutely. Well, and listen, Jared talked about it, and I've talked about it before. I've been in 2 shootings. I've not been hit, but you have to do. They call them mental reps. I mean, you have to just in your mind. You run through these things. If this happens, what am I going to do? How am I going to stay in this? I'm going home. And part of being on the team, like Jared was, I mean, you do get a lot of tactical training, you get a lot of firearm training, but a huge part of that, just like sports. I mean, a lot of this stuff is mentally, how are you going to pull yourself through this?
Right.
And it's like, I mean, hope it doesn't hurt any of our listeners, ears out there, but you're like, fuck this guy, man. He's not getting me.
Right.
And, that's the mentality you have out there. And, it's that fight to win, man. I'm going to win. I'm going to go home.
Well, we're glad you made it home and everything. I assume that you have a family, and they're very happy that you're alive as well, huh?
Well, I mean, I think my kids are. My wife's sometimes happy.
Yeah,
Hey, we've both been there.
that's the nature of that, sir, for dang sure.
Well, man, listen, on the this is shown on YouTube. It's on, for our listeners that are listening to this thing on just a regular podcast form. They can't obviously see your sexy face and your wall behind you there, but you've got, looks like some awards. Looks like you're receiving an award. So this is listen, a lot of officers get in shootings. A lot of officers get in multiple shootings throughout a career. What you went through on that day, that's a rarity. I mean, let's just be honest. That is a rarity to have something that hits that type of level. But what awards did you receive afterwards, or recognition, I guess, for the bravery and fighting through it and all that type of stuff?
So the one behind me is with President Barack Obama and Biden. That's the Presidential Medal of Valor.
Jesus.
I've won Florida's Law Enforcement Officer of the Year, the Police Museum and Hall of Fame Officer of the Year, the Sheriff's Office Officer of the Year.
Yeah.
And just a lot of awards, man. Like, I mean, people really appreciate you. Like, just local clubs that, like,
small little groups in town.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that just you don't even know about, man. They reach out and they take care of you, and it's a pretty awesome thing, like, to watch them really come out and support you in what you do, especially when it comes like down like that. Like, that's the thing. People are always like, Barack Obama or Democrat. They don't, man, they gotta recognize an incident like that. You know what I mean? Like, just because it went violent, people lost their life, doesn't mean that something didn't cool happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that it was a badass story, and I've been in 3 other shootings since then and things like that. Man, it's just one of those things that I'm just a shit magnet. Things find me and I find them. I get after it.
That's called policing, I think.
No.
Hey, okay, so here's the thing. You said you've been in 3 other shootings since then. Did it kind of freak you out, the first one after that one? Were you a little, what was your mentality? I mean,
it didn't freak me out. So I got in one shooting before this shooting. Then I got into the shooting where I was shot. And then I got into another shooting with a dude who was supposed to be a terrible, I mean, he was a terrible person. He murdered his brother's best friend, tried to kill his parents. They only lived from modern medicine, saved their lives. And he disappeared into the woods. We had about a 4-day manhunt for him. Me and my crew, we found him. He went for his, we already had ours, and we got it on. But people don't understand this. And I told them, I said, I needed that one. And they were like, why would you need to shoot anybody? You know what I mean?
right,
Because people depend on me being able to do my job.
right.
And I didn't know if I'd freak out. I didn't know. You don't ever know what you're going to do. You think about what you're going to do and what you're going to try. I just resorted to my training and did what I was trained to do. And I was like, I needed that. Like, I always thought I'd be good, but that happened about 2 years after I was shot. So, those 2 years, you have doubt. You wonder what you're going to do if it happens to you again.
How much
not,
pain? How much pain are you in now, physically?
Pain?
Yeah.
None.
Damn, you're tough.
My face is numb. Like, I have like a goatee of numbness. When I work out and stuff, I can feel it sometimes, like, especially like, because they had to take the bone out of my hip to kind of
Make
fill
your
up
job.
this gap. So my hips will, like, when I work out hard or do something that'll tweak, just gotta go get tweaked every now and then.
So let me ask you, they did a bone graft. Is it got a little scar on the hip?
Yeah.
So doesn't equate to getting shot, obviously, but I had a compound fracture in my left wrist as a teenager playing ball, and they had to do a hip, off of my hip as
Donor
well.
bone.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you, the break in my arm looked horrific when it happened and hurt like hell, but that bone graft, trying to walk again for a while, that was 1,000 times more painful than the damn wrist.
Well, I'll tell you right now,
was miserable.
if you ever get into a gunfight, protect your butt, because getting shot in your ass hurts. It is not it's not something bit you. It is not, exactly. It's like
Hey, Jared, let me tell you, I protect my butt at all times. So my butt does not get touched.
Well, Jared, I thought it was funny that you were talking about being from Jacksonville in Florida, and I know that there's probably a little bit of adult entertainment culture there, and you were talking about when you work out, your hips kind of, you said tweak, but it sounded more like you were talking about twerking, you know? Yeah, so we'd like to see some video of you working out, sir.
Yeah.
That might be a little ridiculous.
Well, we might like that. So what are you doing now? Now that you've retired, are you enjoying the easy life?
No. I mean, I retired, but all I did is change jobs.
Okay.
So I own my own training company, Resten Group Training. I've been doing that for probably 10 years now. That's really doing really, really well. And then I also work for Safariland now.
Oh, cool. What are you doing for them?
I like sales. I'm an account manager. So like my North Florida, South Georgia, selling body armor and holsters and duty gear, so it's pretty cool.
I mean, you're the best salesman for him ever, right? It's like, these things work.
They do work. I mean, I can talk about it.
Do you have your vest still?
Oh, hell yeah, I got my vest.
You have it around. It's got the holes in it and all that stuff where the plate caught it.
Yep. Got my plates. I got everything. I got the bullets that came out of me. I got it all. Huh. I got some of my teeth.
Some of your teeth?
Some of my teeth.
Hey, man, we had this old school cop that he retired a long time ago here on Tulsa, and he had been involved in a handful of shootings. And this guy actually, I don't remember if it was his cartridge casings from his incidents, or I don't think it was the bullets out of the suspect's body. I think it was the cartridge casings. He was able to get them after the cases, and he kept them on a necklace. I mean, it was something like straight out of like some Zulu stuff out of Africa.
Apocalypse Now.
No, I'm dead ass serious, man. This old school guy on my police department. His first name was Bob. I'm not going to put his last name out there, but this guy literally would wear them on a necklace still in the police department.
Necklace?
Oh, dude, you had 2 or 3 of them on there.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, so what is your company, Reston? What'd you say it was?
Resten Group Training. So we do firearms and tactics for military and law enforcement personnel, and also civilians. And I also do a lot of consulting with companies and things like that on gear. Anything related to firearms.
You're the guy to go to, huh?
I'm one of the guys.
One of the guys. I assume you have a couple other guys in there too. It seems like you know how to handle a gun under stress.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good at it.
I was wondering if while you were shooting at him with your job being all slack like that, if you were trying to say any words, if you were gurgling or anything like that while you were shooting at him, if it was coming out.
I don't think so. I think I just was concentrating on my front sight and letting it eat a little bit. But I remember I did get on the radio and tell my partner I was down. And I remember like stopping to like take a and like a me like kind of check to see I could talk before I got on the radio, because I didn't want to be embarrassed on the radio.
No, I got shot in the face. I don't want to be embarrassed. It makes perfect sense.
Hey, you can go from hero to zero real quick. They'll make fun of you for anything.
I was just going to say, and not to war story it here, but when I was on my first year on, I won't say the officer's name because I am friends with him, but he was involved in a foot chase, and he was in terrible shape. But he was screaming in such a high-pitched voice that when we showed up there, I was talking to the guy, and I said, "Where's she at?" And he said, "What?" I was like, "Where's the officer at?" I thought it was a female screaming on the radio about this dude running, and it was actually this male officer, a senior officer to me at the time. I had like a year on, but you want to you got to remain cool on the radio, man, because you will get your balls busted at squad meeting by everybody if you sound
so
sound bad.
Everybody hears it, huh?
Oh, everybody hears it, man.
Yeah, it's on a recording, and then your buddy's gonna get it, and then he's gonna play it.
Oh yeah.
It's not a.
They'll use it at the academy. Hey, here's what you don't want to sound like, when you're involved in a foot chase or
at
a car
your retirement
chase.
party.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Let me ask you, hey, real quick, man. We just got a few minutes here. Is the audio from this incident? I guess you guys probably weren't on a police dispatch radio. I'm assuming were you on some sort of like a mall?
No, we were on a police dispatch radio. There's several of them out there.
Okay.
I can forward it to you guys too if you want to like edit it in later or something like that. But it's really only my partner's radio. Like I get on it for like, I just tell them, I call out my ID number and say, "Hey, I'm down."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's it. And then, but the way he handled himself on the radio was like an awesome, like to me, that was like a great example of mindset. Like, you know what I mean? No matter, your best friend's laying there shot to bits. You got another dude dead. You got another dude who had that witnessed it that was just wandering around. Like, it was a lot for one dude to handle. And man, he sounded perfect on the radio. He kept everybody calm. It was a legit recording.
Dude, that's badass. Well, Jared, man, we really appreciate it, buddy. And dude, one more drink to you. I got a little bit left in this.
Absolutely.
This
Cheers
drink.
to you, sir. Thank you so much. Glad you're doing well. Thank you for your bravery and service.
Hey, no problem, brother.
You will. One more time before we let you get out of here. If somebody wants to get a hold of you and come train with a fucking badass, how do they get a hold of you? How do they find you?
Website's RestonGroupTraining.com. All social medias is just a Reston Group. Just check it out and see what it's about.
If you need some body armor, call Safari Land, right?
Yeah, if you need body armor, call Safari Land, and I'll come out there and size you up.
Well, man, I'm actually gonna head back to that Tebow Foundation thing again, man. I'm gonna hit you up when I'm out there. So we'll get together, have a cocktail. Maybe I'll come come shoot a couple rounds with you.
Sounds great, bro. That's easy.
All right, Jared, man, appreciate your time, buddy. Be safe.
All right, thank you, brother.
Thanks.
See you guys.
Again.